morning, friends. Just visualize this scenario. Young woman who goes to her doctor, and the doctor tells her that her body has grown 4 times her size. The organs inside her body, her heart, lungs, kidneys, have remained in the same size. As a consequence, her organ systems have failed. Her circulatory system, her respiratory system, her digestive system, including her excretory system, everything got completely compromised. On further examination, he discovers that her breasts are not of the same size. One is large and luscious, and the other one is shrunk with poor slums of cells. He discovers that she is pregnant too, but cautions her that she cannot deliver a healthy baby given her condition. And to add to her pain, he tells her that he is moving out of town, going away to another city on a transfer. There'll be a new set of doctors who'll run a battery of tests on her again and come out with a new treatment protocol. Welcome, friends, to the curious case of Indian cities that are growing and dying at the same time. For those of you who lived in Hyderabad, we've seen Hyderabad grow exponentially. Hyderabad was 174 square kilometers, and it has become 744 now. 2 years ago, it became Greater Hyderabad. And the population has swelled from 4 million to a whopping 8.8 million. The same is the case with several other cities in India. I was compelled to give this example. In an obese body, the organ systems are completely compromised. In the case of cities, just stop for a while and think. The service providers that give us water, like for instance, the municipal corporations, the water utilities, the urban development authorities, the transport corporations, have remained in their original sizes and capabilities and capacities. And that's the reason why all the cities in India do not have adequate water. The garbage never gets lifted. We have traffic congestions, we have air pollution, we have noise pollution and all that. Today we are sitting in this iconic building, and this is located in the high-tech city. High-tech city has fiber optic lines, friends, but it doesn't have underground sewer lines. Now, this rapid urbanization, is it unique to India? It is not. It is a global phenomenon. It's happening all over the world. But the developing world is urbanizing at a faster pace. If you have to look at India, India has the second largest urban system in the world, with more than 300 million people living in more than 5,000 cities. The big question is, are cities important for the nation? Yes, they are. They contribute more than 70% of the gross domestic product. They are necessary. Crudely put, they are the money bags of the nation. But what's happening to the cities is not good. If you have to typically look at any metro in India, this is the configuration. A schizophrenic configuration where you have extreme prosperity on one side, juxtaposed with extreme poverty. This is bound to cause a lot of social tensions, and that will lead to crime, violence, even terrorism. I don't have to talk too much about slums because I think the Slumdog Millionaire has given us a lot of insight into what happens in slum dwellers' lives. But what's important to know is most of our cities in India are developing so many slums that experts believe that most of the metros will actually become mammoth slums. Here you're seeing iconic infrastructure developing in Indian cities. The first picture is that of Delhi Metro. Delhi Metro is considered to be a best practice, even by the mayor of New York. He is incorporating that in the Plan NYC. You take a look at the other picture, that is the Bandra-Worli Sea Link. It has been built with a whopping investment of 1,600 crores. These kind of infrastructures are necessary for India. Today we are talking about intelligent cities, smart cities. It's important to have connectivity. Another important reason why we need to have good infrastructure is in India we have probably seen an explosion in telecom penetration. We have something like 500 million cell phone users in India. World's second largest market exists in India. And to complement that, we need infrastructure like this. But what probably is not good for the cities is this. In the very same city, you find a scene like this. People fighting for water. People actually die trying to get water. We all remember that 2,500 people died when the September 11 attacks happened. We all remember that 4,000 people died when tsunami happened. But none of us knows how many people die for want of water and because they're drinking contaminated water. Experts say it's something like a jumbo jet full of people crashing every 4 hours. That is the number of people we lose to contaminated water. So where's the water going? Recent studies have proved that Delhi has more water than Paris. So where's the water going? The water pipes. This is what happens when we try to distribute water. It's almost 60% of transmission and distribution losses when we're trying to give water to people. This is a jam that is caused by a pipe bursting. We have known of cases where hectares of land, the crops get destroyed because a pipe has burst. This is not uncommon. The first picture is talking about rainwater. No city in India has the stamina to withstand 7 centimeters of rain. Just see the irony. We are waiting for water, we are waiting for rains to come, and when rains come, we are in no position to harvest the rain. The other picture is about the worst form of human indignity. The people get into the manholes and they die. And there are not too many activists fighting for them. You know, in the urban space, it's so interesting to observe. It has a deficit of urban planners. It has a deficit of architects. It also has a deficit of activists. We don't have too many people fighting for this kind of situations. Pictures like this fail to elicit smiles from people are seriously not smiling when we're showing this because it's become such a pain. The open defecation has become a pain. The most important slide is this, friends. We live in a country that prides itself in calling itself a knowledge economy. Our policies are extremely strong. We have robust policies. Our heads are very strong, but our hands are weak, which means when it comes to implementation, we just cannot get things moving on ground. We have a hawker policy, 2004. We have a transport policy, 2006. We have a sanitation policy, 2008. But how much of anything has been accomplished on ground? At this point in time, you might be wondering, hey, then if all the cities have this kind of problem, then why cannot the cities have what we call as the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goals for the cities? Yes, the government thought of something like this, and we have a mission program kicked off in the center. And as a result, we have a vision for the city of Hyderabad. And the vision goes like this. Just listen to this vision. Can you just believe that this vision can inspire people to build Hyderabad? Can it move one commitment muscle in you? This has been written by consultants. This is a copy-paste job. Historically, cities have been built by committed private individuals and civil society. But in India, we don't follow that at all. Now take a look at this picture. This is a visioning exercise, a dreaming exercise done elsewhere in some other city in the world. People get together and vision for the city. Has anyone ever invited you for visioning for Hyderabad? I'm not too sure. Have you decided to gate crash and tell the government, hey, let's envision? I don't think so. You know why that has not happened? Because none of us really knows the law. We do not know that there is a law that says involve people in the urban projects. There's a community participation law. When you do not know the law, you cannot question the government. And the government is so happy not telling you what it is supposed to tell you. When we tried to do some visioning exercises, this is what we had. Friends, this is the most important slide according to me. The first picture you're seeing is that of a bridge which was under construction, came up crashing down in Delhi. The other picture is that of a flyover in Hyderabad that came crashing down. You know why the first bridge in Delhi fell down? That's because there was no monitoring and evaluation. And this bridge in Hyderabad came crashing down because the concerned implementing agencies just did not bother to talk to one another. Now the big question is this. You belong to the corporate sector. And in India, we have extraordinary skills. We are a knowledge economy. We are a skills economy. You know, IT. We have people in BT. We have extraordinarily well-honed corporate sector. And almost a whopping 80% of the GDP is contributed by industry and services sector. We have well-honed visions. We have systems. We have processes. We have mechanisms. And you know what it means to look at a knowledge management framework. You know information dissemination channels. You understand what is business process reengineering. You understand what is SLAs. You understand what is customer centricity. The government doesn't have any of these. Forget all these. The government doesn't even have job descriptions. Now the big question here is, why is it that we have enormous of talent in India and we are not in a position to help the government? Go help the government. Teach them project management skills. Bundle them in a room like this. Tell them how to work in teams. Give them wherewithal. Give them knowledge. Teach them. They'll be happy. You know why? Government is used to free service. So federate, just the entire corporate sector can come together and you can give a dedicated support to the government to reskill them, give them knowledge, skills, and attitudes. And you would make a world of difference to the cities. The websites maintained by government are the worst. We have fantastic websites in Africa and even Vietnam. So I suggest that you comb the websites and clean them up. We have terrible call centers. And we have, surprisingly, we again have fantastic call center technology. Just give it to them. Do Shramdan. Elsewhere in the world, they have very persuasive communication to change behaviors. In India, we don't have that. Elsewhere in the world, they put fear in you. If you don't change your behavior, you're going to lose something. Elsewhere in the world, they use grotesque pictures to make sure that you change your behavior. In India, we don't have all that. Yes, you know what we have in India? We have this. Crores of rupees are spent on government advertisements, friends. And all we get to see is this, splashing the photographs of politicians and bureaucrats. That's all we get to see. There's absolutely no persuasive communication. There's no creative component in our advertisements. Now tell me, how do people save water? How can they lift garbage? How can they protect themselves from toxins in the water? We don't even have city merchandise. It's unfortunate. City merchandise is so critical to give a character to the city, but we don't have. Every time somebody visits our city, it is the blessed Charminar that goes to him. And the result of all this is businesses keep moving out of cities. When Bangalore's infrastructure and services crumble, they move to Mysore. When Mysore goes wrong, they go to Chennai. From Chennai, they go to China. They keep moving from city to city in search of better infrastructure and services. You know why? Because business cannot succeed in a city that fails. Business cannot succeed in a city that fails. I personally feel it's important to participate in the governance part. You have to be reformers, we have to be activists, we also have to be partners. We have to work with the government. And we kicked off an initiative called Citizens for City, which is almost an innovation in the urban landscape in India. I'd like to end this by sharing something with you. Several times, my friends ask me this question. They ask me, they say, Karuna, you have a developmentally disabled son. You have a son who's autistic and epileptic. Why don't you work in that area? Logic says I should. But logic also says that I should work in the area of cancer. I lost my mother at a very young age to cancer. Logic also says that I should work in the area of diabetes. I lost my father to complications because of diabetes. Logic also says that I should work in the area of medical negligence. I suffered a cardiac arrest and the suspected brain damage. But I'm working in the area of cities. And it's my good fortune. You know why? Well-planned cities can prevent diabetes. Well-managed cities will stop pollution and they can prevent a whole lot of cancers, including autism also can be prevented because it is linked to heavy metal toxicity like mercury and lead in water. Well-governed cities have dedicated ambulance lanes, so we can prevent a lot of deaths that way. So what does it take to work in this area? I will borrow from Khalil Gibran, the 13th century genius. This is a story about an eye, ear, and a hand. The eye one day sees a beautiful mountain, a snow-capped mountain, and in sheer excitement comes back to her friends and says, hey, I see a beautiful snow-capped mountain there. The nose says, it tries to smell the mountain. It cannot smell the mountain. The ear tries to hear the mountain. It cannot hear the mountain. The hand tries to touch the mountain. It cannot touch the mountain. Three of them tell the friend, hey, there's no mountain there. You're hallucinating. Friends, if you have to work in this area, you have to work with people who don't see what you see. You have to work with those people who do not understand your vision. Thank you very much.